Nice dissolve.
All to hear their pitch, but 93% will ditch. The spots roll on, the host still plead, yet fast forward is what we need.
What the frock is going on here? We may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow, because the frock is happening now.
They promise Spaceballs 2 at last, but jokes are fragile, tied to past. Can Mel still land the laugh on cue, or will the fans all boo the new?
The Rabbi faces doctor's knife, yet vows to keep his podcast live. A mic, a cord, a plan in place. The Frock will still be on the case.
Good morning, America. How are you? Just fair warning, I'm in a mood today, but I am Rabbi.
Good morning, America. I am Friar Rod, and I am not in the mood, though I am missing Newcastle United at the moment.
Well, you should have said something. We could have done this another time.
No, that's okay.
I didn't know they were on.
They just started at 8:30, dude.
That was exactly when we're starting.
Exactly.
So why am I in a mood, you cry?
Okay, why are you in a mood?
Okay, so as you know, coffee is a huge deal to me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, these shows that I do last too long. So I can't use a normal coffee cup. I have to use an insulated coffee cup to make sure that the coffee stays warm throughout the show.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose. So I have a special cup that I use for this show. It's black, it's insulated. And I went to use it this morning, and apparently someone else, not me, decided that when it was in its storage place that they needed to put the lid on it. And so it was not usable this morning. It won't be usable until it's been steam cleaned. So I had to shift cups, and it's not that I don't like this cup, it's just that I'm a creature of habit and a creature of routine. Yeah. When I don't have my routines, I get pissy. Sorry.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess, we could forgive you. Did you find out who the culprit was?
I did not, because literally everyone else in the house is asleep. So no, and I'm not really sure. I mean, I know to the surprise of no one, I have a reputation of being something of a grump. And I'm not really sure that's how I want to start my Sunday with, who the hell put the lid on my cup? Probably not the best place to start.
Well, we're starting with complaints with Dad, so.
Could be that, too. Speaking of complaints, I was reading an article this week, a series of articles this week about advertising.
Okay.
And specifically about advertising in podcasts, which is a topic that comes up every now and again here. Dave, you ever gonna take ads on your shows? You ever gonna charge for your shows? The answer to question number 2, am I ever gonna charge, is no. My goal has always been to recreate AM radio on podcasts.
Yeah.
But I have no intention of ever charging for anything. Now, that said, we welcome donations and contributions. We have a link on the page. Just click support the show, and it's PayPal, Venmo. So I mean, you want to send us some money? We'll take it. Now, please understand that there is no quid pro quo for that. So just because you send us money, all you get is the pat on the back of having sent us money. You don't get anything else.
It does go towards the production of the show,
which, by the way, the website is due again, so I've got to renew that.
Okay. There
are costs involved, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're, super production-wise, because we're not. But there are significant costs involved. I think all the shows I do across the board, all of my shows, somewhere around $300 to $400 a month is what I spend on that stuff. So every little bit helps if you want to. That said, what about ads? Why don't we run ads?
Why don't we?
Well, that's an interesting question because advertising is one of those things that is a bugaboo. Clearly in AM radio, there's lots of advertising.
Mm-hmm.
I used to hate doing morning radio because morning radio seemed to me to be basically 3 hours of, welcome back. It's Mornings Live with Dave Diamond. And now here's a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes, every half hour is 10 minutes of an actual show.
And then you'd have to go and do news and traffic and weather. And depending on the time of year, in the political season, even in the afternoon show, the political season, the 3 hour show would literally, I think the record was 54 minutes of actual content in a 3 hour show at one point. That's how bad it got. So I'm not a huge fan of ads. And as it turns out, neither are you, the listener. You don't like to listen to ads. And this is where I get weird about this because in the podcast world, Rod, and you know this, it's like it's chasing the golden goose. Oh, I got to get advertisers for my show.
Yeah.
I got to get people to sponsor my show. And yes, I mean, that's nice. I mean, it gives you bucks to do your fancy stuff. But if you're an advertiser, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
That's the question that I have for you. Are you actually seeing any ROI on this?
I can't imagine that they're seeing a ton.
I can't either, and here's the reason why. As it turns out, a major study, dun, 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 has shown that podcast listeners in particular do not listen to the ads. 3% of people do not skip through the ads, which means, conversely, because I can do math, 97% of podcast listeners never hear the ads. And I got to raise my hand. I'm one of them. It doesn't matter what podcast I'm listening to, whether it's Zabe or Bill. If there's an ad on, scroll.
Yep.
And I'll tell you a little secret. I even do it for the live reads because I don't care. I mean, number one, I'm listening to shows that are out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Washington, D.C., Melbourne, Florida. None of these advertisers relate to me at all anyway.
No.
But even if I did, it's scroll. So who are these 3% of people that actually listen to this stuff?
Who are they?
I'm sorry. Did I say 97%? I meant 93%. Block the ads regularly.
Okay.
3% of customers admit to have never skipped an ad. So what the hell is the deal? And as it turns out, cost really isn't the consideration when it comes to the podcast listener. 15% is all that we'll pay for the ad-free versions. I do this with streaming TV. I mean, Hulu does this to me. Do you want the ad-free? No. Why would I pay an extra $3 a month to not have ads? Which is kind of stupid, but
yeah.
Social media, 78% of you, that's where you get your ads from. Websites, video streaming, and podcasts are a growing medium. 33% of you listeners actually get your ads from podcasts, but again, 93% of you are not even listening to them. You're just scrolling right through them.
Yeah.
So what does it take?
My browser blocks YouTube ads. So unless the host of whatever I'm watching starts talking about and doing ads in the middle of their stream, I never see any ads on YouTube.
And YouTube's getting pissy about that too.
They are.
They are getting really mad about, you can't block our ads. Well, okay. Even if I can't block them, I'm still not going to watch them. Of course, now some of the YouTube channels do that where you can't scroll through it. They disable the scroll. That's annoying. But, there was a time when commercial breaks were, remember this when we were way younger. So you'd be watching something on TV, the commercial break comes up, and everybody gets up and goes and does stuff.
The bathroom.
Getting snacks, whatever. And then there was always this, hurry up, it's coming back on, kind of approach to things. So was advertising more effective under that situation than it is now?
I don't know. Good question.
It must work because otherwise Jimmy Kimmel wouldn't be back on television. That's the only thing I can figure is that ads work. And no, I'm serious. Do you think if his advertisers had pulled out, he'd be back on? Not a chance.
No.
So the advertisers, who are mostly, from what I can tell, insurance companies and drug companies, must be getting something from it.
Well, he was hawking the vaccine, wasn't he? Was he not? Him
At one
and
point, yeah.
Colbert.
Yeah. But the effectiveness of this is the question. And so it becomes a question about advertising. And I realize this is a lot of inside baseball, and maybe you don't care, in which case you can just scroll through until we get to the part where Dave starts bitching about his coffee cup again. The question is, what does it take in an ad to actually get your attention, to get you to listen to it? And that's the golden goose, isn't it?
You know what it is? It's the Super Bowl ads. It's the expectation of something funny, something clever, something fresh is going to hit during the Super Bowl.
I saw an ad this morning on television that I'd never seen before, and it immediately caught my attention. It was an ad for something I would never buy. It's an app I would never use because, to me, the app is creepy. But the ad was this mother singing to her child about how much she loves her child, but that she's worried about all the various ways that her child could be killed. I'm not making this up. And it's like you could be practicing magic and get cut in half. You could get eaten by an alligator. You could be smashed by a... It's hysterical. And it had my attention all the way to the end where it went, the way you prevent all this from happening is by buying this ad. And it's a tracking app that you use to track your kids and each other. And I happen to know somebody that uses this app extensively, and it creeps me out because it's like, I don't really want to know everything about where somebody else is. It just struck me as odd.
Oh, look, Ben's been in the bathroom for 45 minutes. Well, not showering.
But and I'm not naming people here, but they use it to tell each other where they are.
Oh, that's kind of creepy.
That's a little, just not that interested, to be honest with you. Plus, I'm a pretty boring person as it is. Where does Dave go? Dave goes to the bookstore, he goes to the grocery store, he goes to Walmart, and he goes to the bathroom, and that's about it. I mean, if he's not in one of those places, if he's not sitting right here in front of his computer, that's where he is. So It's not that hard. And unlike the rest of my family, I actually answer my phone.
Well, see there. It's for the people that don't answer phones. That's.
Well, you still have to look at the app. Anyway, the ad was effective because it held my attention until it got to the end. Now, the next time the ad plays, will I watch it?
I think that's the problem is you see a lot of repeats, especially on streaming, right? It's like every ad break, it's the same ad.
Same ads. And don't get me started on who does that. I heart. But it's almost unlistenable. And the problem with that is if you're listening to the live stream, you can't really scroll through it. So what do? So what is it that makes an ad stand out? What is it that makes an ad attract your attention? With all these skip buttons, ad blockers like Rod uses, endless scrolling, it's actually that attention that's become the most valuable commodity to advertisers. Yeah. They can hang on to your eyeballs. If an ad is entertaining or interactive, like this ad was this morning, that will get you to stay with it. Now, it's not going to get me to buy that app. I'm not going to, but I know people who would.
Well, it's ads like I've seen on Facebook where they're hawking some kind of T-shirt and they have my name imprinted on across the T-shirt.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what you're talking about there.
And you know it's generated, but it's like, okay, so I'll look because my name's on it.
Right. Dave bought one of those this week. Did I tell you I had to send it back, though?
No.
So I bought one of these T-shirt ads because it was too small. It's the wrong size. So, either that or I could lose 40 pounds. I mean, it's either that, which is easier. Anyway, so one great way for an ad to stand out, they say, is for the use of alignment with social media influencers. So you get your product in front of influencers,
Okay.
Like Dave and Rod are. We are influencers.
We are.
Or not. And you get us to hawk your product. Now, I will tell you that most of these influencers are just attention whores, so they're going to do it. They're going to Dylan Mulvaney you up, and they'll show for anything. I'm not quite that way anymore. There was a time when I was, but not so much anymore. But that's how you get it. You get these people that everybody knows who is, and you get them to show for your product, and that's how you make those connections. I guess that's what they say. And this tracks with traditional AM radio, right? The live read ads are considered more effective than the recorded ads because you have that personal connection. If I'm telling you how much I love something, this kind of pen, you're more likely to listen to me because you trust me and you know that I use this pen every day. And in fact, I'm obsessive about this pen. I'm not going to tell you which one it is because they're not paying me to say that I use the Pilot G2 pen.
Those are nice pens.
I have literally 600 of them. I have a drawer down here that is full. I'm not kidding.
That's funny. He's showing me right now. So, oh, there's one pack.
You want to see this?
Yeah.
Where do you see this? See this box?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I tell you that this pen that I'm not going to name because they're not paying me to say it, the Pilot G2 is the best pen out there, you should listen to me because I know what I'm talking.
Yeah.
Plus I spend most of my day chasing them down from people that have stolen them from my desk. But the bottom line is getting the influencer to do that, but it's harder to do in this type of environment. So what else is it that then attracts an ad? Funny, creatively engaging, interactive, polls, quizzes, games, celebrities, inspirational ads. You like those where they're heartfelt and they tell you a story? Or they're educational, they give you practical tips or hacks or whatever. Those are the ones I like, the ones that are all over the media right now. You need to know this hack, this life hack. God, those drive me up a wall because I can't not click on them. They're always stupid.
The ads I hate are the ones where you're doing a slide deck on a web page.
Yes.
And you get through 2 or 3, and then they force you to see an ad. It's like, what?
Delete.
Yeah. I stopped watching.
You advertisers need to understand that that's where it ends right there. So you've not kept me. But I think there's a bigger, more important, more noticeable way to attract attention to your ads, especially in today's world.
Okay. How's that?
Fuck it up. No, I'm serious. In today's world, you want to. Someone once said this to me, and I said to me, "There's no way that's true." And then I tried it, and it was. Say you're stuck on something, you just don't know the answer. You're like, 2 + 2 = what? You just don't know. That's just an example. Go on social media, and with absolute certainty, say that 2 + 2 = 7. It's a fact. And within 30 seconds, you'll have the right answer. Because people can't wait to correct what you're doing.
It's like the grammar Nazis, right?
It is. We need a better term for them, but Gramnazis? I don't know.
Gramsies? I don't know.
Gramsies, something like that. But anyway, you get the idea, right? You want to get attention, be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And be wrong gloriously. In fact, there are whole websites that are dedicated to people who are just going to die on the hill of being wrong. And it's the Chive does this every few weeks. It's just glorious to watch.
Yeah.
It really is. So the way to really attract attention to something that you want them to pay attention to is to just fuck it up. Which brings us to New York City. New York City, for those of you who don't know, is undergoing a mayoral election. I don't know how you wouldn't know that.
It's a revolution, Dave.
Is that what it is?
A socialist revolution.
So the guy that's running, the guy that's going to win, Mamdani, is a dyed-in-the-wool, wears pink underwear communist. That's a fact. You can look it up. He wears pink underwear. So he is a commie. But to their credit, the non-communists in New York can't get their shit together and figure out that the best way to beat the commie, who only has about 40% support, is to not split their own vote 6 ways.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And then one guy could be, and you may not like the guy that beats him, but that's your, that's your alternative. So they can't figure out how to do that. So they have turned instead to advertising. They ran an ad this week. They ran a series of ads in newspapers and banners and the likes. And they're things like this. They show a typical New Yorker, and it says, "I like Mandami, but his hate crime plan will make us less safe." And then it says his name, Zhuang, age 40, Sunset Park, Brooklyn. My favorite one, he sounds nice, but Mandami has 0 experience. That's from Robinette, age 55, Morris Park in the Bronx.
He sound kind of legit.
He's a good man with bad ideas. That's why I won't vote for Mandami. That's from Ling. She's 51 in Chinatown in Manhattan.
So from an advertiser standpoint, you're not flat out, you're accepting the person, but you're tweaking it so that you're adding doubt, right?
And then you add a little fact onto the ad, fact number 5. Yeah. Zoran's plan to defund the police will reduce the number of officers. All valid points politically, right?
Yeah.
Seems like a great idea. But, ... I don't know who the advertising agency they hired to do these was. But the problem is that if you're going to pretend the people in your ad are typical, average, everyday New Yorkers, and if 60% of the people in New York don't support this guy, don't you think you could go out on the street for 10 minutes and find 5 of them to take a picture of and go, this person doesn't like Mandami and this is what he says? Right?
Yeah.
Nope. This advertising agency, in the heart of New York City, Manhattan, the advertising capital of the entire fucking universe, right?
Yeah.
Used stock photographs of people who regularly, by the way, appear in other ads in New York City for things like support for you as a career.
Yeah.
Misspelled. Carer. Ling appears in ads for Chinese food. Cancer drives. I'm sorry, it's not funny.
Yeah, you can't use stock photos when you're doing something like that.
But they did. And they thought, well, surely nobody will notice this, right?
You're better off generating an AI image and doing it.
Exactly. It's the 21st century. Why in God's name are you using stock photos for anything? If I'm one of these, if I'm stock over whatever the name of that company is, I'm panicking right now because people aren't going to use this stuff anymore. They can make it themselves. They don't need you. It's kind of like the FCC and local program. Why do I need you? I can just stream it. Anyway, they printed all these ads, threw them out all over social media in New York City. And, of course, because they screwed it up, what happened? Within seconds, people were like, that Robinette chick who's age 55 from Morris Park in the Bronx, who says, he sounds nice. That's my favorite line. He sounds like they're nice boys. I mean, they just went off on her. They not her, but I mean, they went off on the company for using her because she's apparently been in cancer ads and support for caring ads. I said career, but it's caring. Support for you as a carer. Caring for a partner, family member, friend. She's big in that one.
So that's the danger of being like a model and or an actor is that you sell your image and you release it to whatever company and they can use it for whatever.
Right. So what if Robinette, probably not her real name, actually supports Mandami?
Yeah.
Too bad for you.
Yep. Yeah, and she can't come back and say no.
No, she can't do it. So anyway, Mandami's still leading by a commanding 20 points because the right can't get their shit together. after months of backroom schemings and millions of dollars in real estate backed money, all the billionaires can come up with is stock images and fake quotes, said Mandami spokeswoman Dora Pekic. It's a real name, Pekic. And look, I'm not telling you Zoran would be the best thing for New York City. He's a communist, but look, it's New York. I mean, my position on New York is there was a great movie once upon a time. Kurt Russell was in it. Remember this? They turned New York City into just a prison.
Oh, yeah.
Built a wall around it. And I'm kind of leaning in that direction.
I am leaning that way as well.
But really, this is the best you can come up with is stock photos and fake quotes. And you put it on the internet. And you're surprised when you put it on the internet that people noticed. You want to know why ads don't work? There's why. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
So we've seen a lot of news this week. The Comey indictment came down, which was followed by thousands of AI images of shells on the beach.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. If I'm Jim Comey, why the hell would you even post that to begin with? Number one, you didn't actually see that on the beach. Number two, why would you post it? I mean...
Yeah, seriously.
Stop telling me how smart this guy is, because obviously he is not. So he was indicted, and of course this set off the firestorm of Trump is using the Justice Department to chase down his enemies, his political enemies. It's authoritarian, don't you know?
Which they've said repeatedly over and over again.
Oh, God. Not only have they said it over and over again, but the Seattle Times this week had to write an entire article to define to me why it's authoritarian for Donald Trump to do this, but wasn't when the Biden DOJ was chasing people down, when they were sending armed SWAT teams to arrest January 6th. That was not authoritarian, but this is.
Or arresting Donald Trump's lawyers, right?
Raiding his house, that That was not authoritarian. This is, because James Comey probably lied to Congress and courts and a few things like that. And, of course, as I recall, he was the director of something, right? What was that?
JB, no.
One of those three-letter agencies, that are supposed to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Rhymes with FBI or something like that.
Yeah. Which brings me back to, like the FCC. The FBI just needs to go away. They just need to blow that thing up. There's always the argument, but then who's going to do what they do? I don't know. I'm sure we can find somebody to do it. But
well, the important aspects of that actually get things done can be absorbed into something else.
Right. Or we could just form an entirely new agency and get rid of that one. But anyway, so that'll be interesting to watch. Because, we're going to be told over and over again that this is authoritarian, this is Nazis, this is whatever. Well, Jimmy Kimmel, who, as you may know, was fired by Donald Trump. You understand?
That's what they want you to believe, yes.
Donald Trump fired Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel and ABC stood up and gave the finger to Donald Trump and put him back in the air. That's what happened. It's, again... If you want to get something wrong, put it on the internet and figure out what's wrong. And the posts of Jimmy Kimmel's quotes about Roseanne Barr and Gina Carollo and others.
Yeah, Carano.
What's the diff? Anyway,
she'll beat the heck out of you if you get it wrong. That's the difference.
That might be.
Well, if you're gonna be wrong, Dave, on that regard. There you go.
Just thinking that might be enjoyable. I don't know. It might hurt a little bit, but, I got beat up by Gina Carollo, and this T-shirt's the only thing I got.
There you go.
So is it authoritarian? That's the question. That's what the Seattle Times wanted to tell me this week. There's something different about America, don't you know? It's in the headlines and social media feeds, and it's in the coffee shop conversations. There's a word for it, authoritarianism. It's new for us. Authoritarianism, Rod, is new for us.
No. People tend to forget COVID.
But that was Biden. That didn't count. They tend to forget Franklin Delano Roosevelt rounding up hundreds of thousands of people and putting them in internment camps because their skin color was the wrong color. But that was not authoritarian. They forget, people getting drafted to go fight in an unpopular war. Mm-hmm. But that was not authoritarian. But the question about all this, and this is an exact quote from the Seattle Times. You ready?
I'm ready.
The question for citizens who feel uneasy or opposed to such a transformation is as simple as it is brutal. M-Mark, what are you going to do about it?
They used an M-.
First thing I'm going to do is not care about your AI-generated post, but here's a few ideas for responding to the new reality.
Oh, that's totally sounds like AI right there.
Yeah, it does. I mean, here's the ideas that they want. 10 actions you can take to help protect our democracy. Let's see. Shake off a defeatist attitude. Join forces with your neighbors and think of it as a collective, not an individual. Well, that sounds pretty communist.
Oh, yeah, it does. Collectivism.
Educate yourself on the issues. I don't think you really want to do that because then you find out that President Trump did not, in fact, fire Jimmy Kimmel, but
no. But the FCC chair, whoever made that statement, was a total idiot.
Yes, which brings me back to my previous point, which is we need to get rid of the FCC. But
yeah,
join a club. Form your own club. That's what I would do. Form my own club. It's just me.
It's the clean coffee cup.
Had a whole conversation with my child, one of my stepchildren, the other day about how come you guys don't wash your coffee cups? And so I had to explain it to them about why Navy people don't do that. Anyway, form your own club. Call and write your Congress member. Yeah, that'll work. Stay engaged. Write a check. Financially support organizations and individuals who value your commitments. Share your values or commitments. That would be us. So if we share your values and commitments, click on that link that says support the show, and we'd be great. They go on to talk about the fact that Disney has fumbled free speech things in the past. They don't mention what they are, but, there you go. But in this particular case, standing up to Donald Trump's authoritarianism, which, by the way, this is the same thing they went to in his last term. He's an authoritarian.
Yeah.
Again, authoritarian, if Donald Trump really was an authoritarian, the Seattle Times would not be printing this AI-generated op-ed.
No.
But that just seems to go right over their head. They never get that. If Donald Trump was really an authoritarian, this AI-generated op-ed would note the fact that Jimmy Kimmel's back on the air. I mean, they do, but he wouldn't be back on the air if Donald Trump was an actual authoritarian. But somehow that gets lost, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure. Is it just redefining terms?
They call him Nazi all the time, but he is not a Nazi.
No.
We've had this conversation before. He's not killed anybody.
And I would say the same thing to the right. If you call me up and tell me Biden's a Nazi, I'm gonna yell at you because you're not. You're wrong. He's not. He may be a bumbling idiot, but he wasn't a Nazi. Now there were some Nazis that were bumbling idiots. I get that, but as a general rule of thumb, I'm pretty sure Biden didn't line people up and send them into a ditch after shooting them in the head. Pretty sure Donald Trump hasn't done that. I mean, I guess it's possible. Maybe the media is covering up for him.
I don't know. Cuomo lined up a bunch of old people into a retirement home that COVID was spreading in.
And James Comey sent a bunch of people to prison. So where's the actual authoritarianism here? But fortunately, Rod, I have the Seattle Times to tell me what I need to know. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
Okay, I'm confused. I'm looking at the clock going, I thought we were further along than we were, but I guess we're not.
It felt a little early on that segment, but that's okay.
Well, I didn't have anything else to say.
Well, that's perfectly fine. We don't have to go for an hour.
Yeah, I know, but see, I go through this existential argument with myself every couple of weeks about what can we do different, what can we do better, and
sometimes he includes me.
Sometimes I include Ron. I sent him a bunch of texts this week about, should we cut it down? I wasn't trying to. I want you to understand, I wasn't trying to go short. I don't know what happened.
If we did it shorter, I might say, hey, let's maybe try and do it twice a week then.
Would that be preferred? Would listeners like that?
I don't know. We need their feedback.
Free. Yeah. Need your feedback. WTF@whatthefrock.org. I wouldn't mind, but
it would just be in the evening. It's a little harder for me to keep a silent house in the evenings because no one's up right now. So right now it's perfect.
See, that's tragic enough, but the real problem is it's just more work for me. So
it is, yeah.
And I'm retired now, so you should try it. It's great.
No, thanks. Thanks for rubbing that in.
Speaking of things that make me happy, though, did you see all the pictures this week from the table read for Spaceballs 2?
I didn't see the table read, but I've seen the ads coming up and the pop-up of the people in costume, even though it looks AI generated.
So do these ads intrigue you? Do these ads attract you?
They do. I look at them because I know it's coming.
I know it's coming too.
But I already had heard it's coming before the ad.
Okay, so I'm really I am so excited about Spaceballs 2 that I watched Spaceballs twice this week. Okay. And my son, since he was a little boy, has always loved the scene with the luggage combination. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, that's the same combination of my luggage. I don't know why he thinks that's so fun. It is funny, but I got to call him in here every time that's on to watch that.
Okay.
And which is stupid because we live in the 21st century. We could just watch that scene. We don't have to watch the whole movie to get, but I do. I love the movie. But, ...
There's a qualifier.
I love the movie History of the World, Part 1.
It's funny.
Was History of the World Part 2 up to snuff?
I didn't finish it.
I didn't either. I
tried,
but I just couldn't get through it. And I won't say that I was bitterly disappointed.
There were moments.
It's Mel Brooks. There have to be moments.
Yeah.
I wasn't crushed or anything, but I wasn't, oh my God, this is great. I still haven't seen Naked Gun Liam Neeson yet.
It is funny.
I'm sure it is, but there's a part of me that says I don't want to be disappointed.
I was not disappointed. And in fact, that's when I actually bought the original Naked Gun and Naked Gun 2.5. And we watched the first one as a family because we had seen Naked Gun, and it was like, okay, yeah, there was an homage paid to the original.
You got to see the third one though to really get it, right? Because the third one's where they have the kid.
Yeah, well, I haven't. Oh. Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet.
And it wouldn't hurt to watch the series too. There was a TV series, the Naked Gun.
There was.
The movie's based on. It only lasted 6 episodes because I think most people were watching it going, "What?" But it works as well. Anyway, so I was so not disappointed, but not excited about History of the World Part 2 that I'm just kind of like, there's this nervous background, there's this nervous thing in the background of mine about this. What if it's not up to standards? I can't imagine that it won't be. Can you imagine the pressure these people are feeling? I mean, number one, Rick Moranis comes out of retirement. He has been retired as an actor for many years.
Yeah.
He comes out of retirement to replay Dark Helmet, which I don't care. Dark Helmet's one of the most iconic science fiction characters.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, I love that movie. No, you did not see me playing with my dolls. You know that scene is entirely improv, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
The whole doll scene where he's playing with his dolls, and Colonel Sanders comes in and says, "No, I did not see you play." Entirely improv. They make that up on the set.
Okay.
Jewish princesses are attracted to power. See, even right now, I'm laughing my ass off. But there's a part of me that says, what if it's just not as good? Will I be bitterly disappointed? Will I be... Because this is Brooks' send-off, right?
It is. It's his last one. He's 98.
I know.
He looks fantastic.
He's going to play Yogurt again.
He is. 98.
Playing Yogurt the first time damn near killed him because of that gold paint.
Yeah.
And being on his knees all the time. And he's going to do it again at 98. Or are we going to get up one morning and the news is going to be Mel Brooks died on the set of...
But from a marketing standpoint, if that were to happen,
baseball's the death.
It would be a big thing.
It would be. So Dom DeLuise's son, I guess, is playing the new Pizza the Hut.
Okay.
Bill Pullman's son is playing one of the characters.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this, but at the same time, I'm just terrified. What if it's no good?
Who's doing Barf, though?
Oh, no, it's Candy's son is playing Barf. I'm sorry.
Oh, Candy's son.
Not Pullman's son.
Okay.
John Candy's son is playing. And I saw a human interest piece about how excited he is and why it's such a tribute to his father. And he can't believe his father wore this 50-pound battery pack suit to make the ears move.
Well, now they don't even need that.
They don't. No. Oh, I don't know, man. I'm just nervous as wreck about it. Should I be or should I not be concerned? What do you think? WTF at whatthefrock.org. Tell me. Because I don't know what to do. I could put it out there on the internet, couldn't I, Rod? I could just go and think, I don't know. What if it sucks?
Yeah, true.
Now, what would happen?
The faithful would come back and say, no, it's not.
And then I'll say, History of the World Part 2?
Yeah.
Is there any franchise where the sequels have worked at all? I mean, there is one. There is one franchise that I think the sequels worked really, really well. And in fact, the third sequel, the third movie was the best of the three, and that's MIB, Men in Black. I think MIB 3 is the best of those three pictures, but it doesn't work without the other two.
I think the original Star Wars trilogy, the second movie, was better. A New Hope, don't get me wrong, A New Hope was great, right? Because it was earth-shattering as far as it was. The Return of the Jedi, but yeah.
Of course, there's Star Trek, and the people that believe that the even numbers are good and the odd numbers are bad. I don't happen to subscribe to that, but
Khan was better than I think the first several movies.
See, I just disagree. I think the first movie is so underrated. I really do. As a Star Trek story, that is the best Star Trek story. But people just didn't get it, I guess. I don't know. Hard for me to say. I did go see it when they re-released it in 4K in the theater, and just like 1979, I was in tears when they flew around the ship. I was like, "Oh my God!" Anyway, I'm just concerned about this because I don't know how this is going to work, and I don't want to get my hopes up too high. Do you remember the first time you saw Spaceballs?
Yeah.
I was in Lynn Haven Mall in Virginia Beach, and it was like the 2:30 in the afternoon showing because I worked nights at the time. So I went to the and that first scene with Spaceball 1, boom, boom,
yeah,
boom, boom, boom. I mean, literally, 10 seconds in, I'm laughing, and it just got better from there. I don't know, man. Should I be worried or not?
I don't know.
I'm going to be. But I'll have other things on my mind, too. So that'll keep me occupied, I think. Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Dave.
I am Friar Rod.
I don't think I can overemphasize this enough. So inside my head, I know when I'm on the air, I sound, I don't know, whatever. I have my own image in my head of what I'm trying to sound. But the reality is my head is just a freaking mess of but what about? And I go through this existential thing every couple of weeks.
A cacophony.
Yes.
A cacophony of what if, what is, what about that?
What about this? What about that? And it's, okay, why aren't we the number one podcast in the world? And I actually had that conversation with a friend this week who was trying to explain to me that the reason that none of my podcasts are, quote, highly listened to, which we're going to circle back to that in just a second, is because the algorithms, because they, whoever they are intentionally suppressing them because they don't want that information out there. They don't want people hearing what I have to say.
I don't think they know how to categorize this particular show.
That could be it. But I come back to, I know enough about the biz to know that, are we Joe Rogan? No. But we are literally more listened to than 98% of podcasts.
Exactly.
Across the board. Because there is so much out there that, so I go through this, I send Rod these messages, and I'm like, what should we do? Should we do this? Should we try this? And then there's a part of me that says, Rod, I really don't want the headache of being Joe Rogan-esque. I really don't. I nothing personal, but I like the people that listen to our show and interact with us. And I don't need any more than that. I just don't. I remember my days in radio where, we were the number one rated talk show in the Central Valley. We had really good ratings based on the average listeners at any given quarter hour was probably somewhere between 15 and 35,000 people. Okay. And there's something special about driving down the street on a day that you're running a best of because you got to be somewhere else and you got the windows down because, it's summertime. And the guy in the car next to you is listening to Fun with News, the rerun, and he's laughing his ass off. That's cool. But there were also the people that I call helpers, somewhat sarcastically, who have to explain to you everything that you're doing wrong every day. There's a reason why I hate callers to radio shows.
And nobody has access to the private text messages that we share. And it's not just hate.
There's a level of disdain here and it's not that I think you're stupid, callers. I don't.
Well, yeah. Mostly.
Something happens. It's like motorcycle people. When they get on, they could be perfectly normal people, but you put them on a motorcycle, they become idiots.
Hi, Dave. Am I on? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Hey, thanks, Dave. I just wanted to tell you thank you.
How you doing? There's something that happens when you pick up that telephone, and I don't know what it is. It disconnects it's got to be the radiation in the phone or something. It disconnects something in your head, and it's like you would not, for the life of me, if you could sit here and watch me listening to you on a Tuesday morning sometime. Oh, God. If we were to there's a reason why we don't broadcast the video live, because it was often me just screaming, get to the fucking point.
So in the caller's defense on one thing, I called into Bill's show once. Actually, I called in twice because the first time I didn't hear, it's so subtle when you're actually clicked on to being live. There's no notice. It says, you're on, talk now. And he just says, okay, caller, say something. And I'm like, so I didn't say anything.
It does sound differently.
It does sound differently, but so the second time I realized, he was putting me on the air, so I called in immediately and had to apologize.
Or you make something up. Oh, my phone dropped. I literally used to keep cellophane. I'd steal the cellophane off John's cigarettes.
Okay.
And I would keep it in my studio. And if somebody was like, I'd start doing that. Sorry, man, you're breaking up. Click. I keep trying to get Bill to do that, but he won't do it. Anyway. All that to say that I do go through these existential moments where my head is like, and it's a freaking mess in there. some days. Kind of like my shoulder. My shoulder is a mess. We've talked about the fact that my shoulder is so screwed up. And just shy of a year ago, we started talking about this because they said, well, you need to have surgery to fix this, but your A1C is too high. So now my A1C is 6, and everybody's like, oh, great, let's do the shoulder surgery.
Do it now, quick.
Well, hold on to that thought because anyway, so now we're talking about, before he was like this, and this, and this, and this, and it's going to be 5 weeks of this and blah, blah, blah. Now he's like, well, when we get in there, if it's not a grade 3 tear, I don't know, 50% or more, it won't be as bad. And it might not be. So if it's a grade 3 or better, then it's going to be 5 weeks. If it's not, it won't be. So I have no clue what's going to happen here. What I do know is that the surgery has at last been scheduled.
Okay.
My entire year this year has been revolved around the fact that I'm going to be out for 5 weeks at some point. And I anticipated it being over the summer, which is why we didn't go on a summer vacation. It's why we didn't do anything, because I thought, I'm going to be down. But now it has been scheduled. The surgery will be on Monday, October 13th.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is Columbus Day. Which I was surprised to find out that my surgeon's office either doesn't know about or didn't realize was an actual holiday, because she kept saying we can do this on the 13th. I said, are you open on the 13th? She said, why wouldn't we be? Well, it's Columbus Day. It's a federal holiday. Oh, okay. No, we're here. Oh, okay. And it was literally at that moment that the surgeon walked into the office with the scheduler and said, oh, I forgot to tell you I'm not going to be here next Thursday.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, okay. And I looked up and said, you're going to be out for Yom Kippur too? Well, it turns out he's not Jewish, but at any rate. So the surgery will be on Monday, the 13th of October.
Okay.
And I could be out for 5 weeks. I don't know. Because what was absolute certainty before now is maybe?
Well,
we just don't know.
Either way, you're going to have to get used to using your left hand?
I'm going to have to be used to losing my left hand. I did buy, as I said, a laptop. I got a microphone cable special for that computer. I bought a hub for it.
Okay, yeah.
But it doesn't work because the computer has a case around it, and this won't fit over the. So I either got to take it out of the case, or I kind of pissed off about that.
You need one of those cables instead of the actual thing that touches.
Yeah, I have one of those, but this was specially for that model of computer. Except that if you put the case on it, then it doesn't fit. Not that I'm pissed off or anything like that. It's not in the mood about that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
First was the coffee cup. Now it's the computer case.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, I won't be on Dave Does History on the 14th of October. And, I had planned when the knee was done, I had planned to be out for a month, and I was out for a week and a half. And so I don't know what's going to happen, Ron.
Okay. Well, we'll play it by ear.
And if the audience is overwhelmingly saying, oh, we'd rather have 2 shorter shows each week than 1 longer show, well, that'll be even bigger. More stuff to worry about.
Maybe we come back at the end of the year and start the new year with that cycle.
Maybe, but we do have to renew the website. So.
Yeah.
It's always something. It's always somebody with their hands out going, give us more money, which is not us, although if you'd like to, we'd be happy to take it. We're not going to run ads. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to do that. And if there are ads, if you're listening to the show on some iHeartRadio app or Spotify or whatever, and there are ads in it, just know that they're not ours. We didn't have anything to do with it.
Feel free to complain to that company and say, hey, why aren't they getting a cut?
Right. And feel free to scroll through them.
Yeah.
Because why should you have to listen to somebody else? Unless it's funny or engaging. Whatever. And on that note, I'm Rabbi Dave.
I am Friar Rod, and may the Schwartz be with you.
Did you get the good side or the bad side?
That'll be left for next week.
Are you my uncle's cousin's nephew's roommate's brother?
No, we're totally.
Well, that makes you exactly nothing to me. This is what you are about to become. Of this episode of
WTF?
So grab your frock and come aboard. This nonsense can't be ignored. We joke, we gripe, we spin, we sing. While Rome burns on, we do our thing.
What the frock is going on here? We may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow, because the frock is happening now.